Hello. We meet again. I am not me today, just a fraction, maybe a half, a quarter, or two-thirds. Maybe eight-tenths like jazz chords. I am the part that speaks, and for the rest of the time, I sit quietly and see. I wish to make you see all the little things we miss, all the little things we romance. I believe I hated romance, but realized that is romance. Romance is to hate it, I realize, I romanticize. I make believe, I lie, I might terrify, I will try to make you cry. I wish to make you see, teary eyed, all the little things we miss, all the moments that have slipped, like little grains of white sand left behind on the top of an hourglass. So I took about eight-tenths of me and turned it into this fellow named Hoboskatov. If he were me all the time, I would be a tramp, a hopeless nomad, which I believe this world does not permit. Sahil. So I took about eight-tenths of me and turned it into this fellow named Hoboskatov. So repeat after me, Hoboskatov. Thank you. Hello and welcome again. Like I said, I believe we've met before in another time, another form, another shape. Times were different back then. The roads were clearer and people had time to dream for each other. While we're here, let me paint you a picture full of love, green pasture, golden yellow light. And there she was, walking to a tree. And then I opened my eyes and saw her tiny hands sprawled across my chest, her head digging into my neck. And I whispered, "Baby, let's meet under a tree. Let's meet under a tree. We'll park our bikes there and we'll take a short walk, maybe some small talk. But baby, please, 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 let's meet under a tree. There'll be birds, there'll be squirrels, there'll be some critters. But I'd really just like us to meet under a tree. You see, if there was a hill, we could have probably climbed it, found a tree on top there, and stood under it, looked down at the city below, and probably made fun of it. But babe, if there's a park around, if there is a park around, we should avoid it. Their gates and guards and ornamental railings and manicured lawns make it all so fake. Let's just meet under a tree. And there I was, standing, screaming my head off as if I were in a cafe surrounded by people at a poetry event. And I wish I could just turn to all of you and say, hey, next time let's meet under a tree. There was a brief introduction to this persona I use to hide my writing and performance. Kind of allows me to take you through some very intimate experiences that I've had, these moments that you call creative bursts, or, you know. When I'm not being Hoboskatov, I am an artist, I am a filmmaker, I started a company and startup. Yeah. All very dreamy on paper. But I honestly think, it's a lot of hard work doing all these things. And at some point, you should speak to Ashish and ask him what he does. He's the guy behind Flying Squirrel, by the way. And big shout out to Ashish. Also to the team behind Flying Squirrel, if I'm getting the history wrong, please oblige. Coming back to a lot of hard work. Running a place is a lot of hard work, and running your company is a lot of hard work. But although it does on a certain number of days, let me wake up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, get high and drink coffee all day long. And I believe that that could be the key to freedom. Late Monday afternoon, the fans go off and the fridge comes to a grinding halt. A spare bird lets out a loud call when this moment of silence has befallen. A neighborhood come to a standstill. In this silence wakes a scrawny miscreant from a distilled slumber, thoughts percolating, emotions still rocky though. Pulls up his shorts, buckles his belt, checks for the wallet, opens the door. Almighty sunshine enters in. The reason of life, sunshine, feels a little too alive. I think I'm somewhere between stand-up and poetry. Maybe we should call it stand-up philosophy. For those who didn't catch the Monty Python reference, please go back and watch the movies again. So yeah, sunshine. We were back at sunshine. Feels a little too alive. Walking down the road, armed with sunglasses and a certain mood, the cretin crawls around to find shade in a small cup of strong coffee brewed in a large filter. Oh, if only somebody door delivered those. People can dream. The man at the counter, though, seemed like he's living his dream. I bet his son might want to do other things, but he spoke, you know. He said, "What do you want, child?" He spoke soft, assertive voice, almost like a good wife. My inner monologue, freedom. I said 2 coffees. I wonder what freedom costs in a monologue. 20 rupees, he said. Does it even have a price in our monologue? 2 coffees parcel. A plastic coffee bag in hand, said cretin walks home slowly, gets back there, opens up the plastic bag, pours it in a mug, rolls a joint, and took. So, as you can tell, I don't usually think too much about abstract concepts like freedom or government. But that's mostly because I'm quite occupied with some of the more obscure things I've heard. I've heard doing art for way too many years can. So at this point, I started avoiding mirrors. Yes. In some of the houses that I lived in, I had only one mirror and the bathroom, and mostly to clip nose hair. It was one of those days. I said I might terrify. It was one of those days that I was looking at myself, and I realized I was angry with my own mind. So I did what every honest, disgruntled citizen should do. I wrote it a letter. Dear mind, the time for niceties is done. I am writing to inform you that there's a button and it's jammed. You're spewing chemicals all over and they change color with ease. And you've enjoyed the little moments a little too much, and now the clouds above and the rain that falls from them all upset you inside out. Then you feel all weak again and write lines that you hide while hiding naked in your own shell that covers a little, but little will the world ever know what you would say when you gave away the only towel that you ever owned. Something's amiss, and you'll never know it. Ignorance is one thing, but not knowing is glorious. Glorious. You'll never know that something could fit into the places that you saw full. You'll always wonder what's that weirdness in you, but your father won't tell you and your mother wouldn't want you to know. Because all the things you miss would only upset you. And all the things you miss will be the little ones, the ones that you always thought you would enjoy a little too much. You left a window open, and the breeze will never stop. You've let things get in and swoop around, find the gaps between the crinkles and the wrinkles of your heavy blanket wrapped around you. And while you sleep, they will creep in tickle, tease, make you nasty and cold, and finally, when you want to get up and go piss it all out, there would be nothing left in you. You've been too bitter and longing for what could be, that what exists might have left you. And all you want is another night of memories, the little lines that you would remember when you sit naked on your folded blanket looking at the photos that are not on your bedside, thinking about the little moments that don't exist all because you left a tap open. I'm going to introduce you to a friend of mine at this point. But before that, just want to tell you that, yeah, stand-up philosophy. It's become that, I think. I started off writing poetry just out of usual heartbreak and you know, like, oh man, she left me. And but it kind of stuck on, and I guess like from when I was in school, I've been like just like jotting things down here, there, here, there, here, there. And then one day I met a writer who had performed on a stage, and she told me that, hey, do you have lines? Share, let's see. And that got into a conversation, and share. I realized I have like some 60, 70 pieces of writing from across the years, and so then this whole performance thing is like been happening in Bangalore, right? So I started like stitching pieces together to do different sets, and this was one of my first sets that I've like written. It's a longish thing. So I guess, yeah, stand-up poetry might be the next big thing. Who knows? Stand-up philosophy. Poetry digestible word. So yeah, let me introduce you to a friend I made. Anybody ever been to Nigeria by any chance? You have? Wow, fantastic. Do you know a little bit of the dialect, the tongue? No? Okay, fantastic. Still, fantastic. Where do you go in Nigeria? Don't really remember. Okay, let me remind you. Nigeria happened to come to me instead of me going there in this phenomenal human being. No. She didn't leave me. But you know how it is with friends. Customary is that unless they can insult you to your face, they're not your friend. So and then she goes, Orye Okbe, she said. Laughing with a majestic roar, the sound of thunder falling on ears of a newborn for the first time. It's not often you meet gods or demigods walking beside you, ordering shawarma rolls, eating one and taking one back home. And it's certainly not often that they get to point a finger at you and laugh at the predicaments that you've put yourself in. Orye Okbe. Your mind is not complete. She insults me. Orye Okbe. Standing at the doorway, preaching sermons of love to the ones that know nothing more than to give in abundance. Your mind is not complete, and you are facilitating, organizing, making battle plans, but how do you really plan on feeding the armies within your mind? Ori mi okbe. My mind is not complete. My mind is not complete. A chant will ring through acceptance, not belief. The gods will descend as men would have them in their dreams, private room, just so that no one else would know. But just so that no one else would believe but a slave. Ori mi okbe. My mind is not complete. Don't believe a word I say because I'm still human, still incomplete. I still struggle with survival, but I find solace in music. Ori mi okbe. My mind is not complete. Believe nothing but that I am learning, and will stop talking the moment I am done talking of the things that I am absolutely sure of. Ori mi okbe. I will look beyond the form and shape of humanness. It is easier to learn from everyone. Orimi Okwe means my mind is not complete, and this should remain an insult no more. It's not often you meet gods or demigods walking beside you, boarding planes, fighting immigration, playing gigs, just so that they can write songs about love and peace.